Aloha, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to another week of Trauma Recovery University. I'm your host, Athena Moberg, and with me in the green room is your incredible co-host and my esteemed colleague, Bobby Parrish. And this week's topic is awesome. Again, an uplifting topic. Again, an encouragement. Again, focusing on the positive side of recovery and how we can celebrate our wins. What's this week's topic? Resilience. Resilience is so exciting. So resilience, by definition, is the ability to recover quickly from a negative situation, to sort of bounce back. And over time in our recovery, as we do the hard work, no one else does the work for us. We can't go over or under or around all of our drama, trauma, and old stuff from our childhood. We have to go through it, and that is hard. But as we go through it, we develop what's called resilience. And we begin to bounce back quicker. And when we do get triggered, because we will get triggered, like it just happens when you're in recovery, you get triggered. But we bounce back quicker and we see it, stop it, change it quicker than we normally would have previously. And that is a reason to celebrate. So we are so excited to bring you this week's topic of resilience. And we're celebrating the holiday season, Christmas. We're hoping that you, if you are tuning in on a podcast platform, that you know that this is a video broadcast. We hope that if this is your first time, you feel welcome. And we are grateful that you're here, and we are grateful that you've chosen to spend an hour of your week with us. So go over to our YouTube channel or our Roku TV channel and search for Trauma Recovery University. You will see our faces pop up, and we have an entire library of 70-something hours of Q&A, conversation, education, videos for you to watch on all different topics that are about recovery. If you are an adult recovering from childhood sexual abuse or other types of childhood abuse. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And as a thank you for being one of our loyal listeners, viewers, watchers, or just an awesome survivor, we want to say thank you in a very tangible way by giving you complimentary access to our entire library of downloadable resources. You can get that access by going over to traumarecoveryuniversity.com. Click on the tab that says downloadables, and you will be asked for your email address, and you'll be given complimentary access to our library of downloadable resources. You can also find us over on nomoreshameproject.com. We have an annual anthology. We have an awesome community of people. And so far we have reached 55 countries and tens of thousands of you guys that are all encouraging us and sending us emails and letters. And we're just so grateful. So if you are in the UK and it's 2-something in the morning, very special welcome to you. And for all of our normal, regular, not normal, what is normal? for all of our regular attendees that are out Christmas caroling and doing other things related to the Christmas holiday, we miss you, we love you, have so much fun. And just come back and watch the replay. Like, don't worry about us, go have fun. So without further ado, I'm gonna turn it over to my amazing partner, Bobby Parrish, and she is going to update us on all kinds of awesome things going on in our community, issue a trigger warning, and all of her awesome Bobbiness. So take it away, Bobby.
Hi, everybody. If you notice me looking at my phone while Athena's talking, and Athena looking at her while I'm talking, it's because we're tweeting. So don't think that we're playing solitaire. We're tweeting the people who are coming into the conversation, tweeting us questions, asking us questions. So that's what we're doing when we're staring down at our laps while the other one is speaking. And I am so excited to welcome you here for this 2015 holiday season, talking about resilience. But first and foremost, I want to issue a trigger warning. This is a podcast, videocast, Twitter chat about childhood abuse. And specifically, we talk about childhood sexual abuse. So please practice excellent self-care while you listen. or watch. And if you are triggered at any time while you're watching, don't hesitate just to shut the broadcast down, walk away, do your grounding strategies, take care of yourself. The videos are always up on YouTube, always free of charge. They're on Roku, and pretty soon you'll be able to listen to them and see them on iTunes. So they'll be there. You can come back to them anytime that you want to. We don't ever want you to feel badly because you watch one of these or you listen to one. So don't hesitate to walk away. You're important and you deserve to be treated well. A couple of nice announcements. On the 28th of December, so smack dab in the middle of Christmas and New Year's, Athena and I are going to be doing a 2-hour special on predators. What do they look like? How can you spot one? How can you stay away from them? And if you have gotten sucked into the trap of a predator, how do you get out? So we're so excited to be bringing you that 2-hour feature. We did our 4-hour summit on narcissism in the summer. But as we have continued to talk about predators, we've realized that they come in more flavors and shapes than narcissists. And sometimes someone who is a narcissist doesn't come in the typical dress of a narcissist. And so you have to learn to pick out other kinds of predators, and you have to learn how to pick out the narcissists who are not dressed in typical narcissist clothing. And we've had so many survivors suffering because they're re-traumatized by predators. And we don't want that to happen for any of you. Re-traumatization, secondary trauma, is a huge problem within the survivor community. And we want to eliminate it as much as possible. So
hey, Bobby,
we're going to...
I wanted to clarify something super quick.
Okay.
I wanted to clarify what we're talking about here with regards to predators, you guys, and re-traumatization. We are not talking about you hanging out with a friend or someone that you know and them saying something that accidentally, oops, triggers you. That's not what we're talking about. Because guess what? Bless my husband's heart. Like, he'll say and do things sometimes that trigger me, and Bobby and I are around each other, and we work together as business partners every single day, 365 days a year. Like, I don't think we really take weekends at this point. So, but we will say things that will trigger one another. Is Bobby a predator? No. Am I a predator? Not the last time I checked. I'm an advocate, and I'm a helping professional, and I am not a predator, for as far as I can tell, because I've never been told that. So, and I am anti-predator. So, in fact, I want to educate people on predators. So there is a difference, you guys. There is a difference between hanging out with someone who deep down intrinsically has your best interest in mind, and hanging out with someone or encountering someone in your life, whether it be at the grocery store or online, that sort of lures you in, and then you discover that they are a predator. Bobby, your comments on that?
Definitely. You know, there is no malicious or ill-meaning intent behind someone who says something to you that triggers you, who loves you and supports you. It's an honest mistake. They didn't mean to do it. That's a whole different ball game than someone who has selfish and malicious purposes behind their behavior. And that's the difference. Now, sometimes they'll tell you, oh, no, I didn't mean that. That wasn't what I meant to do. You're overreacting. You're oversensitive. But we'll pull all that apart when we're talking about predators, because that is the language that some predators speak. But one of the things we have to do as survivors, one of the things that is unfortunately our responsibility and part of our recovery, is learning to judge people's intent. Okay? And the intent is the turning point. Did, when Athena and I are talking and she says something and I'm triggered, one of my immediate thoughts needs to be, okay, what was her intent? And I know Athena well enough to know that her intent is never malignant. It is never malicious. It is never meant to harm me. So I know she's not a predator. But if I'm interacting with someone who I know has ill intent, they're a predator, because they are using you and the way that they make you feel to meet their needs. It is hard sometimes for us to understand because it's not the way we operate, but some people thrive on making others feel badly.
And some people thrive on feeling badly themselves, believe it or not.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about, and that's the difference. So focus on the intent, and that is one of the things that you will unfortunately have to learn as a survivor, because we are so prone to being re-victimized. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. But if you learn to discern intent, it will be much, much easier for you to discern a predator from someone who just happened to have made a mistake or misspoke or didn't do anything wrong. You just had no idea that would trigger you. They had no idea. So and that's kind of, I think, where we need to hang our hat in terms of determining the difference between a predator and someone who's not a predator. And we'll talk some more about that on the 28th. We have not yet decided whether or not we're going to start at 5 Pacific and go to our regular time of 7 Pacific, or whether we'll start at 6 Pacific longer, like we regularly do, and go 1 hour longer instead. But we will know for sure when we come back here next week and talk with you guys. So we will be back on the 21st, and we're going to be talking about financial abuse. Okay, so trigger warning, the 28th, and we have had multiple contacts in the last couple of weeks from male survivors of childhood sexual abuse, and I just want to gauge how much interest there is out there for us to form a men's only Facebook support group. So if you're out there, if you see this, if you're watching now, or you watch sometime in the future, and you are interested in becoming a part of a secret Facebook support group for men only, would you please let us know? Either shoot us an email at nomooreshameproject@gmail.com, tweet Athena or I. Please don't direct message us on Twitter. I try to avoid that box. Send us a Facebook friend request and send us a private Facebook message on our personal pages. However you feel comfortable in those different ways, I think that would be something that would be an awesome start, an awesome thing to get started up and running in the beginning of 2016, because we're really starting to get more men come forward and ask for a men's only supportive environment. So if you're interested, let us know, and we'll be looking at starting something like that up after the beginning of the year. So
that one gentleman, Zenith, that contacted us, he is awesome. Oh my goodness. I watched one of his videos, and I checked out the website that he does, the nonprofit, and learned a little bit more about his story. And he really wants to collaborate with us. And I think that it would be great, especially as we were discussing sort of having like laughter therapy, or like having laughter as part of like our recovery journey. And he's a stand-up comedian, you guys. So, we would love to hear from you men out there that are survivors. If you're brave enough to send us an email is private, and we would love for you to send us an email so that we would know how to get you plugged in. So, and Bobby, did you get the email? I think I mentioned it. I can't remember. My executive functioning is so crummy right now. But there was an email from someone that wants to join this happens every so often. Someone who wants to join a secret support group, but they don't have a Facebook account, and they wanted to know if there's any other way for them to join one of yours and my groups that are not on Facebook. And we just don't have the infrastructure for that right about now, you guys. As we get more team members and people that are able to take over the hosting and just the platform, the web platform, the web design, the development, the updates, as we get a bigger team in the next couple of years where people can actually take over the tech side, because while I am techie, tech is not always my friend. Like, I can only handle tech on great days and good days. But when I'm having a rough day, like I've had sort of a week of rough days. And so tech is not my friend when I'm having a rough day, because it takes a lot of 100% focus, you guys, to handle tech stuff. So no, we don't have that in place right now.
But we're getting there. Yeah. It's a goal.
It's a goal. It's definitely a goal. And we want to support as many survivors as possible, not just through Facebook. Facebook's amazing to provide the secret closed group private feature. Thank you, Facebook. But we do want to be able to provide that and have our own safe community that is hosted by us. It's just in the works, and I just don't have an ETA on that. So, but it is a goal, and we love you guys, and thank you for the emails.
Yes. So, so let us know. Predator workshop on the 28th, and our broadcast will continue through the holidays. They're not going to change. They won't be altered. We'll still be here because we know the holidays can be a difficult time for survivors. So if that's you, understand that you are not alone, that there are many of us who struggle with the holiday season. Sometimes because the holidays were very stressful when we were children. Either we weren't given presents, or because our parents were so stressed during that time, abuse would escalate, drinking would escalate, families would come together, and uncles or cousins or aunts or grandmothers who abused you were around more often. Or maybe it's because your family has ostracized you since you have decided to come out and speak your truth, and you will be alone on Christmas. Know that we understand that you aren't alone. I will be around over the holidays if you want to tweet using the hashtag #NoMoreShame. I'll be monitoring it a bit, and we have other members of our community who will watch for it. So if you need a little extra support, or you just want to connect with someone, don't hesitate to do that on Twitter. And of course, for those who are in our Facebook support groups, I will be around in there, and I know Athena will be as well too. So,
and I'm going to try to be on Twitter too, guys. I'm going to try to be as involved as I possibly can. I know last year we did, Bobby, didn't we record videos on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve last year?
Yeah.
So I just wanted, like, Bobby and I will be talking off the air about just being able to provide more resources for you guys as much as possible. Just Christmas, New Year's, and everything. And we love you guys, and we don't want you to feel like you're alone, especially during this time of year that everybody seems to be so jolly, and sometimes it's not a jolly time for us.
No, and that's okay.
And it's totally okay, you guys, seriously. Like, I have people, just like random people that see me in my community here where I live, and they're like, so are you guys getting together with family for Christmas? And I'm like, no. Like, yeah, they just have no clue. And that's okay that they have no clue. You know, I mean, not everybody is able to have a clue. So many people don't. So, but you guys, the coolest thing about our topic tonight, resilience, is that we start discovering more and more and more and more the longer we're in recovery intentionally, and we decide to take this daily step. And even if it's just holding our ground some days and we're not able to take a step forward, some days we're even sliding backwards and it's like, oh, this totally stinks. But those days that we are just like, you know what, I'm in recovery and this stinks and it's really, really hard, but I'm going to continue to do it. The coolest thing that is resilience is that you start realizing more and more and more that other people's lack of compassion is totally not your deal. It is not you. It is not people being mean to you. It's not people, wanting to maliciously just be rude. It's just that they're really self-absorbed. And it's sad for them that they are not more compassionate and other-centered. They're just very self-centered. And I used to literally take all that personal, you guys. I don't know about you, but a sign of my recovery and my growth in my recovery is that I'm not owning everybody else's junk. I mean, huzzah. It's, it's just amazing. What about you, Bobby? What is a sign of resilience in your recovery? For me, that's a big one, like not owning everybody else's junk.
I think for me, it's more about when things happen that don't go the way that I thought maybe that they would. I don't get down about it. I don't get frustrated. I don't walk around going, that's it, I'm done, I'm finished, never going here again. So it's being more not owning when circumstances don't go the right way. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. You're not throwing in the towel because something didn't yeah, I definitely identify with that. I used to think that when I was beginning in my recovery, before I was ever even I don't even know if I had, honestly, I thought I was in recovery, but looking back, it was wow, I just didn't know anything. Oh my gosh. But I used to think that when one thing went wrong in the morning, if you started your day off on the wrong foot, that the whole day was ruined. The whole day would be ruined. I even remember when I very, very, very first met you, Bobby, and I told you when I was raising my son, we never really even, the first words out of our mouth when we woke up were good morning. We were not rude to each other when we first woke up. We made sure that we said good morning and we were kind to one another. We made kindness our intention at the beginning of every single day. Well, if that didn't go my way, or if that didn't work, I used to think that the whole day was going to be screwed up, because it's that black and white thinking, that magical thinking of a child. I was just so stuck. So I feel that's sort of similar. I used to just be whatever, the day is over. The day is ruined. Kind of similar to what you just said.
Yes, so much. And this is an excellent lead into talking some more about resilience, because resilience is so much about making choices and setting intention. So what do you think? Should we bring up the one page and slide on over to talking about content?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I just wanted to say hello to every single person that's here live. We have a lot of you. Please send us questions. We love it when you tweet in your questions. Thank you for tweeting us in how you guys are doing. And I'm sorry that you have chronic pain, Jack. And I'm so sorry everything's going rough for you right now, Kate. And Sarah, I wish you were sleeping. Hazel, it's so good to see you. And Colin, multimedia is just stressful for everybody. So it's totally not just you. Thanks for telling us how you're doing. This is Q&A. If you have questions about the topic of resilience, we want to encourage you to tweet them in using the hashtag #NoMoreShame. Tag us, Athena Moberg and Bobby L. Parrish. And we will do our best while we are presenting content here as a screen share to answer your questions. I'll interject and interrupt Bobby rudely, but not really rudely, because I'm really just trying to help. It's not my intent to be rude. We will answer your questions while we are presenting the content to you in the next 30 minutes. And then we'll go ahead and close out with all of our contact information like we always do, and let you know what our topic next week is going to be. So yeah, I think it's a great idea to go into content, Bobby.
Okay, let's take a look at that. There we go. I feel like I should hum music or something while I'm.
Do, 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 do.
That's what it feels like.
Do, 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 do.
Okay, there we go.
It looks beautiful.
Well, you made it beautiful. Okay, here's our one page. We have one of these. If you're not familiar with our broadcast, we do one for every week for every video. And the goal is for you to be able to walk away from these videos with one single sheet of paper that contains both education about the topic and tips for how to cope with the topic, or how to build the thing that we're talking about up, or how to get better at gaining a greater skill. One page, that's it, not multiple pages, just one page of distilled information. And then you can have that at your fingertips, print it out, put it in a folder, put it in a binder, and at any time during your recovery, you can leaf through and find the subject that you're looking for. And this week, we're talking about resilience, okay? Resilience is defined as the ability to recover readily. Okay, and we're going to come back to that word, but let's just finish for now. From adversity, misfortune, difficulties, and challenges. Resilience is not specific to the field of trauma recovery, not specific to the field of abuse recovery. It has to do with anyone in the entire world who ever experiences an adverse circumstance. So you are defined as resilient when you are able to readily recover. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean that you don't get knocked off your feet for a period of time. That doesn't mean that you have zero reaction to negative circumstances. Anyone who has zero reaction to negative circumstances is either perfect or so emotionally blocked that nothing is ever, that, it's going to be a really hard time for anything to get through to them.
And since no one's perfect, because if they were, that would be a huge red flag, then it's the latter.
Right. So you cannot, it's unreasonable. We are not saying you are not going to be experiencing difficulties because of adversities. What we mean is that in the second sentence, it talks about you have a capacity to recover without significant delay or difficulty from being triggered, re-traumatized, or mistreated in ways that resemble our childhood abuse. Okay, so that means that perhaps when you're first starting in recovery, if you get triggered, you are down for the count, you're knocked off your feet for 48 hours afterwards. And then gradually over the next 3 to 4 days, you regain your footing and you get back to level where you were before. Okay, but then as you progress through your recovery, that time period gets gets shorter. So the next time it happens, instead of 48 hours off your feet, you're now off your feet for 44 hours. And then it takes you 2.5 to 3 days to get back up and level. It gradually goes down like that. And resilience is one of the key indicators of recovery from trauma. When I operated as a therapist, and still as I operate now as a trauma recovery coach, I monitor my clients' resilience, because I know that the more resilient they become, the more they are progressing in their recovery. Okay, so that means you can do that as well. You can monitor your own resilience. If you see yourself, if you observe yourself taking less time to recover from an adverse circumstance, then you know that you're making progress in your recovery. It is very hard sometimes for us to gauge our progress in recovery. I think probably one of the most often asked questions that Athena and I get from people that we regularly interact with is, do you think I'm getting any better? Do you see any progress? Or it's the complaint that I feel like I'm not making any progress, or the out and out declaration, I'm not making any progress.
Yeah.
And we are able to look at them and say, yes, from my perspective, and we can label the things. Okay, I see you becoming more resilient. I see you speaking up and voicing your wants and needs more often. I see you asking for what you need more often.
I see you having healthy boundaries.
Exactly. I see you offering support and encouragement to your peers more often than you used to.
Hey, Bobby, I have some questions being tweeted in.
Hit me.
Oh, this is a really good. This is a good comment. Margot Rose, body aware grief. She says, knock down 7 times, stand up 8. Japanese proverb, resilience.
Exactly.
But I do have some questions.
Yes.
Colin wanted to know if resilience is related to good boundaries, and I told him that healthy boundaries are one of the greatest ways to develop resilience. What is your take on that, Bobby?
I think so too. And I think more than that, though, Colin, if you have healthy boundaries, you're going to encounter less adversity. So you're not going to have to tap into your reserve of resilience as often. If you have healthy boundaries, you're not going to get preyed upon. You're not going to have people knock you down. You're not going to experience negativity as often as you used to. So yeah, healthy boundaries and resilience go together very well.
Definitely. And then Kate wants to know if it is possible to be halfway resilient, such as bouncing back quickly some days and then on some other days not so much.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things, guys, that I really want you to know is that the more stress that comes into your life, the more that and this is a human condition, this is not just survivors, all human beings, when we experience stress, we tend to revert back to our most basic learned behaviors. Okay? So if stress rains down on you like a thunderstorm, Kate, you're going to watch yourself regress. You're going to see yourself fall back on the things you learned when you were a child. And one of the things you learned when you were a child is that when bad things happen, it's your fault. It means you are worthless, and it means you caused it all, and you're just a bad person. So yeah, when the more stress that we get, the more likely we're going to be to lose our healthy new behaviors. And that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just means you have to keep going and really cement those healthy new behaviors into your life, into your personality, into your toolbox. So absolutely, stress can be just a beast in terms of uprooting our anchoring into healthy new behaviors. It's the same reason why when we train professionals, teachers, preschool teachers, any kind of teacher, school workers, how do they know when a child may have been sexually abused at home? And one of the signs to watch for is when a child's behavior regresses. Do they start wetting the bed? Do they lose some of their language skills? Do they start having temper tantrums again, like when they were 2 or 3? So behavior regression is a hallmark sign of stressful situations.
Absolutely it is. Oh my gosh, I love the example that you just gave. Hazel Davis doesn't think that she is resilient at all. She knows she's a fighter, and she thought they were the same thing. But I don't know, the way she worded it is that she says it's hard to admit I'm not resilient. But I would disagree, Hazel. Bobby, what about this comment? Her comment saying that she says, I am a fighter. I thought they were the same thing. Oops.
I think the capacity to be a fighter is part of resilience. I absolutely do. Because, Hazel, you wouldn't still be here after all you've suffered through if you didn't have the resilient capacities. Now, maybe that means that some other parts of resilience, like a strong self-worth or positive self-talk, are not yet a really strong part of your resilience toolbox. But that doesn't mean you're not resilient. Sometimes, and we talked about that this morning in chat, sometimes we recover by sheer grit and determination.
Yeah. I mean, grit is it? They had a whole TED talk on grit. And
Really?
Yeah, I gotta send it to you. It's awesome.
I thought that was just a John Wayne movie.
No, grit. I will. I'll find it. It's an Asian gal who's a teacher. She's amazing.
Okay.
Colin says that he says, how about when you get knocked down once and then you fail to get up for the next 7 rounds? Oh.
If you get up for the 8th, you win.
Exactly.
I don't care if you get back up at any time. You win, Colin.
August is here. Hi, August.
Hi, August.
August says, when I tell my story, people often say I'm resilient to survive. I feel like I'm not. I just didn't remember it until now. They're saying like, oh, you're so resilient that you survived all these years. You're like, but I didn't even remember my story until just now.
I think that's interesting because this morning in chat, there were quite a few people who were talking about that they thought they had been resilient, but now they're realizing that it was denial and avoidance.
Yeah, that's happened to me.
Sometimes we think that we've recovered from something when the reality is all we did was stuff it down inside our heart, in our head. Or sometimes we decide that the way to deal with something, either consciously or subconsciously, is that we're just going to avoid it. And that's okay. You get to choose if you want to do that or not. But your recovery will go better. It will be much more healthy. It will be swifter. It will be easier. The more that you do not use avoidance and denial as coping mechanisms. And if your brain gave you the gift of repressing memories in order to save you, that doesn't mean you're not resilient. That just means that you now got to haul out a whole different set of coping skills. And survivors are notorious for declaring that they are not strong people.
Yeah.
And I understand that because it's the things that we go through, the things that we have to recover, the things that we deal with, the stigma, the family ostracism, the physical and mental damage that happens to our bodies and our brains is overwhelming. But we are strong. We are very strong people because first and foremost, we survived our abuse. And second, we made it from that point to now.
Yeah.
So
I have some more questions.
Tell me. Absolutely.
I have some more questions. Julianne's here with us. She says she's feeling crumbly and she can't sleep. Oh,
I'm sorry, Julianne.
We love you, Julianne. Grace wants to know, how can you tell if you're being resilient or flogging a dead horse?
I need some clarification on that, Grace, because I see those as two totally different things. Flogging a dead horse is beating up an issue that should have been, what I interpret that to be, beating up on an issue that should have been put to rest, and resilience is recovering from an adversity. So I need some examples from you in order to understand how to help, sweet thing.
Please send examples. Okay, I'm tweeting her right now.
Okay.
Could you please clarify? Please send examples. Okay. So I'm going to say hi to Julianne. Colin, he says he sort of feels like there's no choice but to get up again. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, no, that's not true. I mean, how many?
You're right. We could stay down. We could stay down.
We can stay down. I mean, how many survivors every year commit suicide? How many survivors every year disappear into a bottle or a needle and heroin? How many survivors every year bury themselves in a life of crime and end up in prison? Yeah, you have a choice, Colin. And the fact that you have chosen to not give up is pretty darn amazing. And I think you should congratulate yourself. I know you're not where you want to be. I know that. But that doesn't mean that where you are is not something that you need to take 100% credit for. You've gotten yourself to where you are, and you have not given up. So please give yourself some credit for that.
Yeah, definitely. Simi has joined us. Hi,
Hi,
Simi. Oh, Hazel says she doesn't get the resilient stuff. She's going to bed. Sorry, Hazel. We love you. There's so much. It's all coming in so fast, Bobby. We
Okay.
might want to keep going with the one page. I can't keep it. It's all coming. It's all happening really fast.
That's okay. Okay, so that is the definition of resilience, the ability to recover, regain your footing, feel solid again after adversity and misfortune. And watch resilience. Resilience is a marker for recovery. Okay? There are 7 aspects of your life that you can build up or make stronger in order to become more resilient. Okay, these are important. This is how do I become more resilient 101. We'll offer a 201 here at some point.
Exactly.
Okay, and the first one is healthy, supportive relationships. And this is kind of one of those somebody has my back kind of experiences. The more that you are unconditionally loved and supported, the more capable we become of rejecting negativity as untrue. We know our value, and we know we aren't alone against the world, and this gives us strength. When I know that someone is behind me and is not going to let me fall into a deep, dark pit of losing myself, I'm more able to say, okay, wait a minute here. That's not right. If someone comes at us with, what's the matter with you? Why aren't you coming home from Christmas? That's all mom and dad want. All you got to do is harp about this abuse stuff. Can't you just put that behind you and come home? Resilience means you're able to recognize that that's not about you. And that doesn't honor your truth. Okay, and when you know someone has your back and is going to back you up, you're not the only person in the world standing there against your family, then you are more capable of saying, no, I'm not coming home. I'm not going to stop talking about my abuse, and you'll have to go ahead without me. So that is so important. The more healthy relationships you have with unconditional support and love, the more resilient you will become. Communication skills. This is so important, you guys, in a million different ways. But in terms of resilience skills, it means that when you have the capacity to communicate your needs, wants, and feelings, the better you will become at standing up for yourself against negative experiences and judgments. Okay? So when that person comes at you, about how you're ruining the holidays for the whole family because you won't come home, then you're able to say, I hear what you're saying. I respect what you want, but that is not what I want. I want to stay home. I'm not going to stop talking about my abuse. And if you can't respect that, then I need you not to contact me. Okay? So the more we're able to speak up, defend ourselves, share our wants and needs, the more resilient we will become. And the next is problem-solving skills. When we know how to get from adverse circumstances to healthy circumstances, we can move more easily in that direction. Okay, so when something negative happens to you, when you go to the DMV and you are there to re-register your car and you find out that the laws have changed and you can't re-register your car, and you're going to have to do A, B, and C, and in the meantime your car is not going to be registered, and you're afraid the police are going to pull you over and they're going to ticket you, that emotional overwhelm can be enough to knock your executive functioning out of order, and you can't plan how to get from where you are now without your registration to the point where you can get your registration again and drive legally. So when you have a healthy set of problem-solving skills, then that will make you more resilient, because you'll be able to go from that negative circumstance to that healthy circumstance more quickly. And here's one that shows up so often, you guys. This last Friday, I did an interview for Svava Brooks. She's doing another summit for survivors of sexual abuse. It's coming out in January, and it's called Journey to the Heart. And we talked about how important healthy self-esteem is, that if you don't have a healthy love for yourself, and you don't own and know your worth, then recovery is so hard. We can still do it, but it is more complicated and it takes longer than if we truly understand how valuable we are, how lovable we are. So,
Hey, Bobby. Hey, Hazel, I'm trying to get caught up on all these tweets. Hazel wanted to know, have we been groomed to think we are weak even when we are strong? And I said, yes. Yes.
Yes. The fact that we're powerless is one of the primary lies that our abuse tells us, that we were groomed to believe. And we were groomed to believe that because, one, for the most part, it was true when we were a child. We were powerless. You know, most of our abusers were bigger, more powerful. They had a power advantage over us in terms of their position in the family. But we were groomed to believe that there was nothing we could do. And some of us were threatened. We were told if we ever said anything, we would be hurt. Family members that we loved would be hurt. No one would believe us. We would be called a whore. All sorts of number of things. But the problem is that we carry that into adulthood. And we think that now as adults, we're still powerless. And the reality is that we are not. We are so powerful. But we have to find our way back to owning our power.
Ooh, Bobby. Grace sent an example.
Okay.
Okay, I think I understand what she meant now. She said, for example, trying to maintain a somewhat normal relationship with family, etc. I did this for decades. And I don't think that it made me more resilient. I think it complicated my recovery.
Okay, so tell me what you mean. I don't understand.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't know how the two really relate. I think I just somewhat understand what she's getting at. I mean, like, does her being able to maintain a healthy relationship with her family in spite of her abuse mean that she's resilient? And my answer is no. I don't think that is resilience. I think that is possibly like fantasizing that it's actually going to get better. And that's just my opinion. That's my personal opinion. If we were talking professionally, it would be a 30 to 45 minute conversation about family dynamics, and I wouldn't be able to answer it right now. Because her mother, she has a narcissistic mother, she's mentioned here. And she's trying to maintain a healthy relationship with a narcissistic mother while going through recovery. And does that make her resilient? And I don't see that as being resilient, only because I have experience with that. But I would love to hear your take on that as a helping professional as well, Bobby, because that's like a pile of spaghetti and baklava. You got to like pull that apart a zillion different ways to make that. That's very, 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 very difficult.
You know, it's both very difficult and yet it's not difficult because, and it's not resilience. Because first of all, there's no way to have a healthy relationship with a narcissist. Those two things don't go together. Okay? You can have a very defined relationship with a narcissist where you have very strong boundaries and you don't feed their narcissism, but they're not going to like that. So I would say having a healthy relationship.
Uh-oh, we lost you, Bobby. We lost you, your audio.
I'm back. Am I
Oh,
back?
good. Oh, yes, thank God. I thought you
Okay.
left. Okay.
No, I didn't leave you.
Okay.
Having a healthy relationship with a narcissist, I think, is an oxymoron. I'm not sure that you can do that. But it is your right to have a relationship with your family. And we respect if you would like to do that. I have multiple clients. We have many people in our support groups who have chosen to have a relationship with their family. And that is okay. That's your choice. You just have to learn to accept the costs that might be associated with that, which is that they're going to say or do things that might complicate your recovery. They're going to ask you for things that you're going to have to turn down and that might require a little more strength. And my immediate response to you was, Athena, is that easy to do? Both yes and no. Because I think sometimes that's more about denial and avoidance.
That's what I was trying to get at. Like,
right.
I realized that I was in denial and I was avoiding after I had tried to maintain this quote unquote healthy relationship with narcissistic and cannibalistic, sociopathic, psychopathic, very unhealthy family members. I realized after decades of trying to maintain quote unquote healthy relationships with these predatory people that it was a moot point and it was foolish on my part, but I had to learn it on my own time. I had to choose. Every one of us has to choose in our own time what is worth it. Is it worth it to you? Are you saying that it is worth sacrificing your own mental and emotional well-being in an effort to rescue or scoop up the last pieces of what could be a healthy relationship with remaining family members? And if your answer is yes, and you have counted the cost, then we are proud of you and we support your decision. It is always your decision and we support you. We would caution you to be wise and look and make sure if you are being preyed upon and consumed by cannibalistic, narcissistic, personality disordered, sociopathic, et cetera, et al. Family members, that we would caution you to be very wise and very discerning on how you spend your emotional energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't think that's resilience, but that doesn't mean it's not hard as heck. And it doesn't mean that you can't make choices to have it be different if you would like. So healthy self-esteem is so important. The more that we love ourselves and the more that we own the fact that we are worth being treated well, then this is exactly what, Colin asked about earlier. If I have healthy boundaries, is that resilience? Kind of, yes, but resilience will also, healthy boundaries will also help you avoid getting into situations where you will need to be resilient. Same thing with having a healthy self-esteem. If we have a healthy self-esteem, and by having that, we ask for people to treat us accordingly, we will have less people prey upon us. We will experience less adversity and therefore have less need of resilience. Distress tolerance. This one's so important because for many of us, when we were children, when emotions were running really high, it was a dangerous time. Okay? If mom and dad or grandmother, grandfather, sibling were very upset, bad stuff happened. So we do not tolerate high levels of emotions very well. And in fact, it's not unusual when a survivor first comes to talk to Athena or I that they are not in touch with their emotions at all. They just don't do emotions because emotions are scary, and they never led to anything good when they were kids. So when you experience a lot of emotion, you might shut down, or you might immediately fall back into that pit of darkness and not know what to do other than feel lousy. But when you can learn to sit with anxiety or fear or unhappiness, sadness, and not allow it to motivate you to act in a way that's detrimental to your recovery, then you will be more resilient. Does that make sense, Athena?
Yes, it really does.
Okay, good.
Definitely.
And we have a video that we did about overcoming strong emotions. So learning to sit in distress is the phrase that I use, is a critical issue for survivors and something we need to learn to do. In fact, my psychiatrist still harps on me about that one. Bobby, you just have to learn to sit in distress. And it's hard. Who wants to sit in feeling sad and afraid and unhappy?
No one. No one at all.
But I think the key is that it's not necessarily learning to sit in it. It's learning to not let it motivate the way we decide to behave. Our feelings are our feelings. They are truly nothing more than messengers about the information that's coming into our brains. They are not meant to motivate our behavior. But again, because of the childhood that we had, they do, because we had to they did motivate our behavior when we were a kid, because if mom had been drinking all day and she was raging in the kitchen, if you pretended that wasn't happening and didn't take cover, then you were going to get hurt. So strong emotions did motivate our behaviors then, and it was necessary. It was a safety mechanism. But as adults, it's not always the wisest choice.
Yeah. Hey, Dominique's with us. Hey, Dominique.
Hey, Dominique.
She says, I think my toughest lesson with resilience is that it is not always glamorous. Sometimes it's just not giving up. Amen, sister.
Yes. And sometimes it's messy and snotty and tear running down the face when you don't have any tissue other than your shirt sleeve. Messy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, because all you got to do is get back up. And if you are surrounded by people who love you and support you, they don't care what you look like when you get back up. They're going to congratulate you, throw confetti, and give you a round of applause and point you towards a shower and a clean shirt.
Hey, yeah, exactly. And the cool thing is when you actually, like, sometimes I think I'm the only one that doesn't like to see myself like that. I think that, like, my husband's okay with it, but I didn't know he was okay with it, or like my friends are okay with it and I didn't know they were okay with it. I was the one who was not okay with it. So that's kind of a big eye opener. Colin says perhaps a little anger helps with this.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anger's powerful. Again, anger is an emotion that, if I were to have to pick the emotion that survivors struggle with the most, it would be anger. And that's primarily because as children, anger was used as a weapon, and anger was incredibly unsafe. People got beat when there was anger. And for some of us, people got killed when anger was present.
Yes.
And so we learn to associate anger with bad things and negativity. But the reality is that there is no emotion that is negative. Emotions are messengers. Emotions are messengers. That's all they are. One of the emotions that can be very powerful and actually propel us forward the most in recovery is anger, because it's very powerful.
Melissa's here.
Hi, Melissa.
Melissa, what's for dinner?
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Remember last week she was cooking dinner.
Send food. The next thing we're going to talk about is your self-talk. You guys, this is so important. My business coach talks She references this as, what story do you tell? What story do you tell? So how have you labeled what is going on in your life, the causes and your responses? How do you talk about what's happening to yourself? And how you label things, how you discuss the circumstances you're in, drastically affects how you respond. Okay? So if you run into an adverse situation and you tell yourself, this is horrible, it's impossible to deal with, I'm falling apart, I'm never going to be able to put myself back together, I can't cope with this. When you use that catastrophizing language, then guess what? It's going to feel more catastrophic and it's going to take longer to recover. But if you tell yourself, okay, this is hard. It's okay to acknowledge this is hard. This is hard. This is lousy. This is a bad thing that has happened. Go ahead, acknowledge it. But then say something to yourself that is encouraging. Okay? So this is a lousy experience. This is a lousy situation. But I've been through worse. I can do this. This is a lousy situation. I think I'm going to contact Athena. She's been helpful to me in the past, and she'll help me put this all into perspective this time. This is a lousy situation. I'm going to take a few hours to wrap my head around it before I decide what to do. Okay? All of those ways that you talk about it are going to affect the way that you feel and the way that you respond. Is this easy to do? No, not. That's not what we're saying at all. None of these things are easy to do, but they're so important. So if you learn to talk to yourself in a way that acknowledges the reality of where you are, but doesn't sabotage your resiliency, your recovery, then you will find yourself bouncing back from adverse circumstances much more quickly. And then the last one, Athena and I know you've heard this before and you're going to hear it again. It's so important that you're in community with other survivors, because you can use your involvement in safe, supportive community to practice healthy new behaviors, to allow the support of others to build you up and help you become stronger, and to let others give you perspective and validation. Okay?
Yes, so much yes.
So you're going to hear that from us a lot. You've already heard it from us a lot. You're going to hear it from us more. Oh, my dog's choking under the bed over here. So there you go. One page of resilience information, which will hopefully carry you towards a greater understanding of all things resilience. And I just want you all to notice the wonderful Advent calendar that Athena continues to provide for us. 2 weeks ago, she just had the tree with some lights on it. Last week, she had the tree with decorations on it. And this week, look, she has her stockings on it, up on the railing, and presents under the tree. So I just want you to know, Athena, that next week on the 21st, I'm expecting Jim in a Santa suit.
Oh, I'll have to ask him about that. I want to let you know that one of those presents over there.
Although because you're from Hawaii, I might take Jim in an aloha shirt, but he has to have the beard and the hat.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay, Bobby? Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Hello? No? Can you hear me?
I've lost you.
Oh, no. I think we're going to lose Bobby, you guys. What I was going to say is one of those, you can't hear me right now, but hopefully they will be recording. One of those presents right there is for you, and one of them is for Brian, and I'm getting ready
I'll be back.
Oh my gosh, we're losing Bobby. Okay, so I'm just going to let you guys know, now that Bobby is out of the room, she doesn't know this, but I got her a gift certificate, and I got Brian a gift certificate, and I also got him his favorite treats, and I got her a treat as well, and I'm going to be mailing them. And I wanted to let you guys know I have received a few of the Christmas cards that you all are sending me, and mine are not here yet. They were supposed to arrive on the 30th, and they didn't arrive, so they're supposed to be here today, but I'm not really sure if they're here. I got a text message saying that they're here, but the post office lies, so I'm really just not sure if they're here or not. But I'm going to be sending out Christmas cards, and to clarify, I've received the envelopes of the cards that you guys sent me, but I have not opened any of them. I kind of wanted to open them like on the air with you guys if I can, or maybe open them all together like with my husband and like hang them up so I can show them to you guys or something. Hey, Bobby, are you back? Are you back?
I'm back. My sound is not awesome, but I am here.
Okay.
You know, I got my son a new computer for Christmas. I think I need to get myself one.
I think you need to get yourself one too, Bobby. I think you need to get yourself one too, because we are having issues like every week. So you got to get yourself one for sure. Can you even hear me? Right? Okay, I won't.
I can hear you, but you're really, really fuzzy.
Okay. Well, why don't we pull up our contact information? And I want to be sensitive to everybody's time. It's about an hour. Right at an hour of our content. We love you guys. We appreciate you. If you already have our contact information, feel free to go ahead and split out and take off for this week. Oh, God bless you, or
Sorry.
Something. And please take note, next week's topic is going to be financial abuse. And that is how our abusers used money to control us or manipulate us or perpetuate their abuse to make us reliant upon them. So that's a very real part of domestic violence and a lot of different types of abuse, especially emotional abuse. And it's just one of the flavors of abuse that goes on. And, you know, sexual abuse doesn't happen in a vacuum. It doesn't normally happen by itself. And a lot of different types of abuse don't happen normally in a vacuum by themselves. Usually they're coupled with or partnered with several different types of abuse, which is why because it's affecting your mind, your body, your soul, your finances, just everything is affected. So Bobby, I know you cannot hear me, so I'm going to go ahead and stop talking now just so you can bring up the screen share on how to get in contact with us and how to get into Safe Community.
Absolutely. Here we go. Okay. Ways to contact us. And, you know, we say this every week, but we're going to say it again because sometimes you're new and you don't know that even though we would love for you to contact us, it is difficult for us sometimes to get back to you in what might feel like a timely manner for you. It is just the two of us. We're working on bringing in more people, but it's hard. So you are more than welcome to reach out to us, and we try to get back to you as soon as we can. You can reach me at bobbylparish@gmail.com. Athena is at athenamobergspeaking@gmail.com. And then there is the No More Shame Project @gmail.com. That's our joint business email account. On Twitter, I am Bobby L. Parish. Athena is Athena Moberg, and Trauma Recovery University is Trauma Recovery U. The capitals don't matter on Twitter. If you follow us, I would love to follow you back. The times that I don't follow back are when they're like, you know, you're just an egg, or meaning that you don't have a picture up or anything, and if you never tweeted, or, you know, I don't obviously follow back the people who share naughty pictures and things like that. So, yeah, but you're more than welcome to follow me. I would love to follow you back. You can also connect with us on Facebook. We have Trauma Recovery University, and then my business page, which is Bobby Parish Coaching and Consulting, and then my personal page, which is Bobby Parish. Athena can be reached at her personal page, which is Dawn Athena Moberg, or she can be reached at her business page, Athena Moberg Speaking. We would ask that you please not send us private messages on any of our business pages. I don't know, Athena, do you get private messages on your business page?
I get a lot, and I have a hard time. I don't get the same notifications on Facebook, you guys, on my business page. It's difficult for me. It's difficult for me being one person to monitor my email or my Facebook and monitor all of our private secret groups and monitor my business page and monitor all of my private messages. It's just so difficult. It's too much. So if you're sending me private messages on my business page, it is so difficult for me to respond in a timely manner. It's just too much for me to handle. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so please contact us, friend us personally. Again, we would love to be your friend on Facebook. The only reason we don't accept Facebook friend requests is, if it looks like some kind of a weird, hinky or strange kind of thing. Otherwise, we would love to be your friend, and then you can send us a private message. It's much easier to connect with us then. Again, it's one less mailbox we have to monitor, and we don't get the notifications from our business pages like we do from our personal pages. You can also find us 24/7 on YouTube. Just do a search for Trauma Recovery University. We are 24/7 on Roku TV, and you can also access us on Google+, Trauma Recovery University. We are available 24/7, 365 at bit.ly/Trauma Recovery U. The capitals do matter there. Okay, let's see here. And now we will go to the very last page to share.
Hey, Bobby, I think we should, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Can you hear me now? I think, I know that we already talked about this, and we're getting ready to go. We're getting ready on the 28th to do our Predator 2-hour special.
Uh-huh.
I think we honestly might need to do another narcissistic video, because there is such a long conversation going on about narcissists right now, and they're only one small part of the Predator community, you guys.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then that doesn't begin to count the people who are multiple kinds of predator all at once.
Correct, because that is definitely possible, as you've heard if you've been a member of our channel for any time.
Yes. Okay, let's take a look at ways to join our safe community. We have 3 Twitter chats every week. The first is Monday, and that's at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. in the UK. This Twitter chat was started primarily for the UK audience, so that's why it's timed the way that it is. But anyone can join in, and the hashtag for that is CSAQT, Child Sexual Abuse Question Time. And then on Monday night, this broadcast that you're watching now, if you're watching live, is our second Twitter chat of the week. It is a live video Twitter chat interactive experience. The hashtag is No More Shame, and that is at 6 p.m. Pacific time and 2 o'clock Tuesday morning if you're in the UK. Tuesday evening is the original Twitter chat that we started back in January of 2014. That hashtag is Sex Abuse Chat, and that is 6 p.m. Pacific, 2 a.m. Wednesday morning. And then on Facebook, okay, we have multiple Facebook support groups, and like we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, we're talking about bringing in, and I'm just going to make this big and bring it up here so y'all can see it easier. We would like to start one for exclusively for male survivors. So if you're interested, don't hesitate to reach us, email us, or send us a friend request, and then send us a message to our personal account so we know we can get you on the list as being interested in that. If you would like to join one of our Facebook groups, there's 4 simple steps, and we ask that you please follow these because If you want to become part of our safe support groups, but you message us some other way, it can kind of get lost. We know that not everyone is on Facebook, but you have to be on Facebook in order to join one of the support groups. So if you want to just start up an account and, name it, Josie and the Pussycats, I don't care. Just friend us and send us a message saying, hi, this is so-and-so from Twitter, or, I follow you guys on the video broadcast. That's fine. You don't have to use your real name. So we would ask that you, yes.
I'm so sorry. Whenever you're done wrapping this up, I totally forgot to mention our partnering with the United Against Slavery. And it involves being able to use a pen name and to be private. I just don't want to forget.
Okay.
Okay.
I put a pen in it. Okay. So if you would like to join one of our Facebook groups, like the Trauma Recovery University page, send friend requests to both of us. And we ask that you send them to both of us because it may be that one or the other of us gets a free moment first to accept your friend request. And then once we have accepted your friend request, and not before, because if you send it before we accept your friend request, it ends up in our infamous other folder where we don't get notifications that anything is there, and it just sort of disappears into, cyber space. So send us a friend request. We will accept it. Then send us a message saying, I'd like to heal in safe community. And we will respond. We'll ask you some questions if we don't know you. We want to make sure that you are safe to join our community. You're not a predator disguising themselves as a survivor. And then we will welcome you into the group that we feel is most appropriate for you. So that's it.
All right.
That's all she wrote.
Okay, so the sun here is shifting a little bit. It's sort of like shining in. The sun's going to be going down pretty soon. So I know that my face got a little bit dark. Sorry for the weird lighting, guys. Okay, can you see me at all, Bobby?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I can't really do that. I'm just going to have to lean in. So, okay. So this is the deal, you guys. Hopefully, I know it says here we still have some people tuning in live. So on the replay, you guys are going to get this, and I just want to let you know. We are partnering with United Against Slavery. Who is United Against Slavery? They are a nonprofit organization that is on January 11th, which is National Human Trafficking Day, Anti-Human Trafficking Day. They are sending, so far they have, here in the United States, they have almost all 50 states. I believe they do have all 50 states being represented by their survey. All this is a survey, you guys. And this survey is not just for human trafficking, just as it looks on the outside, okay? This survey is for stakeholders such as nonprofit organizations, other people that are a part of the anti-human trafficking, anti-human slavery movement. But the coolest part and how this sort of comes into play for us, the survivors, is that if you, as a quote-unquote concerned citizen or survivor of abuse of any kind, would like to register for free and register anonymously, you don't even have to use an email address if you don't want to. They're figuring out a way to use one of their email addresses, and then that way the only indicator to maintain the integrity of the survey, if you would like to answer the questions. The whole purpose of this is to update the statistics, you guys. You'll answer questions such as, on topics such as bullying, narcissistic abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, any type of child abuse, sexual abuse, any bullying, anything that is considered abuse, you will have a question that is asked. And all you have to do is answer honestly, and all you have to do is enter your zip code and use a pen name. That is how you participate in this, okay? If you're interested, I'll have Harriet put down in the show notes a link to pre-register for this survey. Melissa Wilson, if you're tuning in live and you're still on, I think we just gained a couple more viewers. So Melissa Wilson, if you're watching this, I want to talk with you. Anybody else out there who has a podcast or runs an organization or has a huge list, maybe Lindsay Fisher, you guys, someone reach out to Lindsay Fisher and Amy over at Domestic Violence Chat. Anybody who has a database or email list, what they want to do is get as many survivors out there who are willing to anonymously just answer a 5-minute survey about the types of abuse they've incurred or witnessed, and that way they can update the data. If we can update the data on a national level, and plus we have 133 countries that are participating so far. So then the national and international data will be updated, the statistics will be updated, and you know what that means? That means when bills get put in place, I hate discussing politics, but that means that like there will be more services provided complimentary for abuse survivors if the number of abuse survivors that reports the abuse they've been through actually reports it, because there's so much unreported abuse. So if you anonymously report your abuse via this survey, there is a higher likelihood that you will have your voice heard. The whole reason is they want to hear your voice. They want your voice to be shared and heard. And the only reason I haven't told you about this sooner, you guys, is because I just had, this is getting really annoying. I'm so sorry, you guys. Here we go. How's this? Better? Good Lord. The only reason I haven't told you about this sooner, you guys, is I just had the conference call with the one of the leaders of their organization last week after our live Q&A. So if you're interested in participating in this 5-minute anonymous survey, we are really, 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 really excited for the statistics of abuse to be updated in our country and across the world, across the globe, so that resources can be provided for you, the survivor, at low or no cost to you. And just there will be more of an awareness if we actually have accurate data. Bobby, your comments on this?
I lost my audio. So you're going to have to wrap up for us, sweetie.
Oh no! Dang it. Okay, well I'll do a debrief and catch up with Bobby afterwards. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. Let us know if you are wanting to participate in this anonymous survey. We would love for you to participate. And we're so excited. And if you want to pre-register, just go over to unitedagainstslavery.org. And if you want to use your email address, go ahead. Just use a pen name, you guys. You do not have to use your own name if you're worried about confidentiality, okay? If you're worried about your safety and you don't want anybody to find out because it would endanger your health or the health of your children. So, okay. So we're going to wrap all this up. And until next week, I'm Athena Moberg, and this is Bobby Parrish. And we love to bring you, the survivor, everything you need for healthy, informed trauma recovery. Next week's topic, financial abuse. Aloha, everybody.